Okay. So this is prelims sectional test 2. We have written the sectional test 1 last Saturday, and that was based on the polity first basic concepts. Like we have discussed the concept of constitution, salient features, and then we went to fundamental rights the first week. Then DPSPs, then fundamental duties and federalism and the state structure like parliament, legislature, etc. This is for the first week. And the second week syllabus is we entered into the concept of president, vice president, then prime minister and council of ministers on the first day, the Monday syllabus. And then we started with union legislature. Executive is done. This is union executive, and union legislature is also done. Then judiciary. So we have discussed about the 3 parts of the government. Simply to say, the theme is 3 wings of the government: legislature, executive and judiciary. So this week is like the core of the polity, because most of the questions, the traditional questions, come from this portion. If you skip the first one, this is fine, because right now questions are not being asked from these are very high yielding areas, but still not being asked. This, like union legislature, union executive and union judiciary, is very important. So please again revise from first sectional test again, and if you have not covered those things, please try to cover them by Monday, and so that you will be aligned to the schedule. Chalo, let us go to the first question directly. How to solve the questions. I said last time that one thing, you should not focus on the options, because the problem in the UPSC itself is the options. So they are eliminating us based on the types of the pattern, different patterns they are introducing, and we are being eliminated. The only thing that I want to focus is on these 4 statements, that's all. If you are very sure about the statements, then the pattern may be anything, but we can solve it very easily. So please focus on the concept. Concept is the king. Now first question, with reference to the president of the US and the president of India. Directly a mains potential question, at the same time prelims question. You have to compare both of them, USA president and Indian president. Consider the statements. In both the countries, the president is elected indirectly. So in India, obviously we know indirect elections. So we don't vote for the president. In the US also, the procedure was initially people, the citizens, will elect the electors. Okay, we call them as electors, and these electors will elect the president of USA. This is the normal procedure. I repeat, first citizens directly vote for electors, and these electors will vote for the USA president. So here also indirect election is there. So first half of the statement is correct. In both of the countries, president is indirectly elected through an electoral college. And what is the electoral college of Indian president? We have MPs and we have MLAs, only those who are elected. This is very important word. Elected MPs and elected MLAs are going to elect the president. For example, there is a person in Rajya Sabha who was not directly elected, but nominated person. Nominated based on his expertise in social service, his expert in something, arts, sciences. Now, can this person vote in the Indian president election? No. Nominated MPs or nominated MLAs, they generally don't vote in the presidential election. So from here also I can understand that electoral college is both for Indian president, it is different, for US president it is different. But the idea is in both countries election is indirect. Next, in the US, electors are allotted to states on the basis of legislative representation. Whereas in India, the voting strength of the states is population based. See, this is very core technical concept. If you see the MLA vote value, what is the idea? Here the electors means we have MPs and MLAs. They are going to elect the president, right? Now the question is saying, in India, the voting strength of the state is depending on the population. Yes or no? So if you see the MP vote value or the MLA vote value in the presidential election, how it is calculated? Total population of the state to the number of MLAs. Okay, that is what the vote value or number of MLAs in the state. Total population and the number of MLAs. This is what the formula of vote value of a particular MLA, of a particular state MLA. That means here we are directly taking total population of the state. So it is population based, correct? And even number of MLAs are also we are taking. That means representativeness we are also taking care of. So this portion is correct. Voting strength of the states is population based. This is correct. Now electors are allotted to states on the basis of the legislative representation. On the basis of legislative representation means somebody voting for some other body. That means directly people are voting for somebody else. That is representation. Legislative representation means what these electors are going to do, they are going to make the laws. So correct, in the US also electors are based, they are allotted based on the legislative representation process only. So citizens will vote for electors will vote for president. So second statement is correct. Third one, unlike India, president of the US is both head of the state and head of the government, directly correct. He is the head of the real executive, at the same time nominal executive. Both USA president is powerful person for that reason. Correct answer. Next, fourth one, eligibility to the office of president is restricted to natural born citizens in the US but not in the India. See, what is meant by natural born citizens and naturalized citizens? There are two words. I repeat. In Indian constitution, presidential eligibility, if you see criteria, it says he or she should be citizen of India. The only criteria is he or she should be citizen of India. But how the citizenship came, nobody cares. Whether this may be directly because of the birth, we become Indians, or directly because of the registration, we have another procedure to get citizenship. There are 5 different procedures will be there. That's what we studied in the day 1 or day 2, I think. Citizenship articles from article 5 to article 11. It says you can get citizenship of India through many mechanisms. One is directly birth, second one is registration, third one is naturalization, or sometimes whenever India acquires a territory, even those people will be given the citizenship. These are the 4 ways of getting citizenship. So now Indian constitution says you can be just citizen of India. I don't care about whether you got birth here, or whether you are naturalized or registration or etc. I don't care. But coming to US, eligibility to office of president is restricted to natural born citizens in the US. So US constitution says if you get citizenship by other means other than the birth, you are not eligible. Simply to say, I went to US and I got the green card, and now I also got the citizenship after 10 years or 15 years. Am I eligible for this US presidency? No. Even though I got the citizenship of US, because I was not having the birth in US, I am not eligible for the US presidency. You got the point, right? That's the idea. So only natural born citizens are eligible to become president of USA. But in India, there is no such condition. Anybody, just if you are a citizen of India, that's all. So this is the fourth statement. So I have discussed even the concept, comparative aspect of both US and India. It's like a mains potential question. What you have to do, go through this same model answer. You need not even go to the options. Just these 4 statements are enough to write a mains answer. Just a comparative aspect of US and Indian president. So the answer is all 4 are correct. Now I'm not going to all these things, you can just see here. Next, which one of the following most accurately captures constitutional limitation on the ordinance making power of the president? Very, very, very important. First dimension we have seen the election of the president theme. Now comes the ordinance making power of the president. Now what is meant by an ordinance? Only when there is no possibility of making an act by the parliament, then comes somebody like president who wants to make the same effort but not by the parliament. Let us say there are 2 conditions. One is Lok Sabha is not in session. Lok Sabha is not in session because Lok Sabha is dissolved. Under such circumstances, it is the presidential responsibility to go for an ordinance. Second thing is even when Lok Sabha is there, but Rajya Sabha is not in session. So when both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha are not in the sessions, under such circumstances, president will go for the ordinance. So what is an ordinance? Ordinance is simply executive act. I can call it like this, executive act. If parliament makes, we call it as act. But if the executive will go for the same rules, same notification he gives, but instead of the people, the Lok Sabha people, now the president gives the act. Simply it's a act in the absence of the parliament. You can call like this. Ordinance means act, but in the absence of the parliament. Now what is the question? Most accurately captures the constitutional limitation. Limitation means what constitution is saying that you cannot go for ordinance under certain conditions, I can say. What are those conditions? Under some conditions you cannot go for ordinance. What are they? That's the idea. First one is an ordinance can be. Please see here. Can be means possibility. So whenever can be is there, most probably that statement will be true. Can be means a possibility. So can be promulgated, and this is another word which UPSC twists upon. If the parliament is making the particular act, we call it as what? Basic legislative procedure. Legislation procedure. But if the same legislation is in the form of ordinance, then the making of ordinance is called as the promulgation. So the difference is only who is doing the act. Is it the parliament or is it the president? If president gives the act, that means promulgation. If parliament gives that is simply the legislation. Now an ordinance can be promulgated only after prior approval of the both houses of the parliament. See, remember, when there is no both houses, the condition itself is when we go for ordinance, when the both houses are not in session. Here it is saying like both houses of the parliament should be in session and they should give the prior approval. Is it possible? When both are there, why president will go for ordinance? There is no need of ordinance making, right? So it is wrong because actually both houses will not be in session. That's the reason president will go for the ordinance. Second option, so this is wrong. An ordinance cannot be promulgated when both the houses of the parliament are in session. See, an ordinance cannot be promulgated when both the houses of the parliament is in session. What it says? It says president has no power to issue ordinance when already Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is there. It's right. It is sounding right. This is the UPSC trap. What is the question? Constitutional limitation. This is correct. President will not issue the ordinance when both are in session. But is it there in the constitution? No. Constitution did not discuss anything about what president should do when both houses are in the session. For that reason, because this is correct statement, but this is not in the constitution. There is no mentioning of this statement in the constitution. For that reason, this is wrong. Okay. If you see only alone the statement, it is correct. President should not issue an ordinance when both houses of the parliament are in session, but it is not there in the constitution. That is again wrong. An ordinance must relate only to the subjects in the union list. See, remember when there is concurrent list, the idea of the concurrent list, obviously instead of the parliament, president will also make ordinances on the concurrent list also. Yes sir, no, concurrent list is there. Not only on union list, wherever the parliament is having the power to make laws, and on all those items, president can also issue the ordinance. The legislative jurisprudence or the jurisdiction will be applied exactly to the president also. So what I am saying is not only union list, even the concurrent list can also be president can make the ordinance upon. This is the idea. So this is wrong. Only on union list, no. He can give ordinance on concurrent list also. An ordinance ceases to operate if it is not approved by parliament within the prescribed period. This is like a generic statement and this is correct. Why? Because if after the ordinance is done within the 6 weeks, the idea is within the 6 weeks, either of the parliamentary body should approve it. Either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha first. Initially within 6 weeks itself it should be approved. If not, that ordinance will stand nullified. So this statement is correct. Here the prescribed period will definitely change upon the amendments, but right now we are following the 6 weeks period. Within 6 weeks, if an ordinance is given approval by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then that will become an act automatically. But if this is not given, obviously that will be nullified. It will be operated, ceases to operate. That's the idea. So option 4 is correct. All the 3 are wrong. Now, third one. What is the question? Consider the following, very factual question. Consider the following one. Niti Aayog, Zonal Council, Chief Information Commission, it is not Commissioner, Interstate Council. Now, which of the following are chaired by Prime Minister? See, Prime Minister means always you have to remember Niti Aayog. Who is the chairman? Once upon a time it was Planning Commission, but now it became Niti Aayog. That means Planning Commission is chaired by whom? Prime Minister. The then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Planning Commission chairman. Now, obviously it is replaced by Prime Minister. So, Niti Aayog, yes. It is the Prime Minister who chairs it. Coming to zonal councils. In India, we have total 5 zones. Okay, India was divided into North, Northeast, Central, Western and South. So we have 5 zones are there. For all these 5 zones, zone 1, let us say zone 2, zone 3, these are councils, zonal councils. For all these, who is chairing? It is the Home Minister, not the Prime Minister. So remember, Home Minister will chair the zonal council meetings and the Chief Minister of that particular state. Let us say this is South Indian Zonal Council. Here, whenever meeting is happening, Home Minister will be chairing that meeting. But one state, South India means we have four important states: Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Now, out of them, one CM will act like a vice chairman to the meeting. So Home Minister and CMs will act like a chairman and vice chairman. So it is not the Prime Minister. So Zonal Council is wrong. It is not the Prime Minister. Chief Information Commission, see what it has to do with Prime Minister. Nothing. It's a specialized body, right? So right to information, under that act it was established. So Chief Information Commissioner, he himself will chair it when the meetings are happening. Why? Prime Minister will go and sit in that meeting. It has nothing to do with that. So 3 is also not. Coming to this one, Interstate Council. What is the article which speaks about Interstate Council? If you see, this was established in 1990 or 91, okay, and it was established based on what? Sarkariya Commission recommendation, Sarkariya Commission. So the Sarkariya Commission report came in 1986. After 4 years, in 1990, this Interstate Council was established according to the article 263. 263 is the Interstate Council article. Now, Interstate Council, that means all states will be there. all chief ministers will be there wherever legislature is there, or union administrators will be there if there is no legislature. But who should be the head of these all states? Obviously the prime minister. He will chair the meeting. So interstate council, yes. Niti Ayog, yes. But zonal council, no. It is home minister. Chief information commission, it is by CIC itself. This is the idea. No. I'll be a little fast from here. Okay. Next, fourth one. Consider the following statements regarding the presidential election in India. Again, repetitive theme. So now you are understanding the themes are important. Presidential election, that's what important. Now election. System of proportional representation. What is proportional representation? If, let us say, you as a political party got X percentage of the votes, you should get the same X percentage of the seats also. That's the idea. If there are 100 seats and you got 20% of the votes in election, that means you should get 20 seats in the parliament. That is what proportional representation. Now, by single transferable vote. What is single transferable vote? This is the procedure of the election. First, let us say 2 candidates are there for 3 candidates are there for presidential election. Now, people will vote, MPs and MLAs will vote for 3 candidates based on the preference. First preference, second preference, third preference. That is what proportional representation. Now, what is single transferable vote? First, we will check for out of these 3 people who is getting the majority first preference. We'll first keep them in the contest. Now, second, we will check who is the most second preferred candidate. We will also keep them in the contest, and the third person is there now. The third person, if he is not getting first preference and second preference, his votes will be transferred to the next person. Next person means, let us say, first myself I am taking example just to make you understand. SRK is there, Vishnu sir is there, and Dinesh is there. We 3 people are contesting for the presidential election. Now there are 100 people in the electoral college, and out of them 20 people voted for first preference, voted for SRK sir, and another 40 people voted for, let us say, Vishnu sir, and who else? The remaining 40 people, they voted for Dinesh. This is the criteria. Now, first preference we will check who is getting more, both people. Here Vishnu sir and Dinesh is getting 40 votes. Now what they do, we will keep them in the contest. The next round of elections will be between these 2 people for presidential candidates. But the thing is, these 20 votes, whom these votes should be transferred to, that's the idea. Whom we will transfer? First we will check the 20 votes. First persons, let us say I have taken the vote preferences, and in that first preference is actually the third person. That means SRK sir will be the first preference for that person. But now I am already eliminated. Now other 2 people are getting more votes, right? So that first preference will be eliminated in that vote, and who is the second preference of that particular candidate, we will check. And to that person, if it is Vishnu sir, then that vote will be transferred to Vishnu sir. Or if it is Dinesh, then the vote will be transferred to the Dinesh. That's the idea. So we will check for all these 20. Whatever I am getting, the first preference, for all 20 votes we will check. We will shift the second preference to that candidate, the votes will be shifted. That's what single transferable vote. I think this is the best explanation that I can give you. Okay, so single transferable vote is generally used, borrowed from Ireland. Now this is a factual question. From Ireland, what we got? Obviously, yes, proportional representation, we got the system of proportional representation. Second thing is even something related to Rajya Sabha, the nomination of members to Rajya Sabha on the basis of 4 important criteria, right? Arts, sciences, etc. So that process also we borrowed from Ireland itself. And third thing is DPSPs. Even the DPSPs also we got from Ireland itself. So this is correct. Irish constitution, from there UK adopted it, and from there we took it. But the direct source is Ireland. So this is correct statement. System of proportional representation, yes, we use it. Single transferable vote, yes, from Ireland. Second one, in the presidential election of India, value of the MLA's vote of Gujarat is higher than that of the Andhra Pradesh. So here 2-layered question. This is a 2-layered statement. First statement is, I am asking you, you just answer me. Are the MLAs of every state having the equal vote in the presidential election? I repeat, are the MLAs of every state are having equal vote? No. Why? I have told you the formula. What was the formula? MLA vote will be calculated based on the total population of the state by the total number of MLAs in that state. That is what the value vote of the MLA. Now total population of the states are different. They are not equal, right? So obviously Gujarat MLA value and this Andhra Pradesh MLA value will be different. So that is first layer. We don't have any equal value system. Where do we see equal value system? Let us say in the USA, the Senate is there, na? Senate. Senate. There we see Senate means exactly like our Rajya Sabha. So in the Senate you will see for every 50 states of US you will have 2 people represented. Equal representation is ensured in the US in the Senate. But in the Rajya Sabha, do we give equal representation to every state? UP will have 20 Rajya Sabha members. But if you see Mizoram, they will have only 1 member. Sikkim, only 1 member is there. That means every state is having different representation by population. We preferred population. If the state is having more population, they should have more voice in the Rajya Sabha. That's the idea. So in that context, first thing is clear. Value of MLAs is not same across the states. Now comes another layer question. That is, we should know even the value of Gujarat and the value of the Andhra Pradesh MLAs. How can we know? Just based on the size of the population, roughly we should estimate. And recently, if you see, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh, it is reverse actually. The vote of Andhra Pradesh MLA was around 159, the vote value, something around that. Whereas the Gujarat MLAs was around 149 something, very nearer. So how can we know about it? Only this is like a current based issue. Whenever elections happen, let us say simultaneously happened for Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh at a time. Somebody have written some editorial about it, comparing the vote values of etc. So from there you should know what is the comparative value of the votes. So this is, I don't expect you to know this point. Even if you don't know, it's absolutely fine. It's like a current domain statement, but the answer is wrong. It is Andhra Pradesh value which is more, the value of MLA rather than the Gujarat. And third one is voting in presidential election is not subject to the disqualification under the 10th schedule. See, under the 10th schedule, there are some disqualification criteria. Now, what is the statement saying? Voting in presidential election is not subject to disqualification. That means if you are, let us say, you are corrupt person and you are disqualified under 10th schedule. It is proven, corruption is proven and you are disqualified. Now this is saying even in that condition you can vote in the presidential election. Can it possible? Is it possible that a corrupt person to vote in the presidential election? Already proven corrupt person. No. So if you are disqualified under 10th schedule, obviously you should not vote in the presidential election. So this statement is actually wrong. It is not subject to is wrong. It is subjected to the disqualification. So the answer is only 1 and 2. How many statements are correct? Only 2 statements. Next. Consider the following statements. First one, leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha holds statutory office, not the constitutional office. So this is a very conceptual question. If you see speaker, it is a constitutional post. Even the deputy speaker, constitutional post. Rajya Sabha chairman, constitutional post. But leader of opposition, we never see any constitutional article discussing about that. So leader of opposition is simply a statutory post. Statutory means during the period of the Indira Gandhi period in the 1960s and 70s, their first time leader of opposition was recognized and he has given some different salary perks just like the prime minister. For example, today we have Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi is the not Rahul Gandhi, I'm sorry, Mallikarjun Kharge. Mallikarjun Kharge is the leader of opposition in the house, the senior member of the INC. Now he is exactly treated how prime minister is treated in the country. He is the leader of ruling party and he is the leader of the opposition party. So to get that equal stature in the country, in 1960s, an act was made by the parliament, an act which recognized the position of leader of opposition. So it was not constitutional post, it is simply a statutory post. And what it is saying about leader of opposition is a statutory, not a constitutional office. 100% correct statement. Okay. Second one, the office is recognized by the salary and allowances of leaders of opposition in the parliament at 1977. 77 means the story is like this. See, 75 to 77 emergency is there, na? Emergency. During emergency, what happened? Indira Gandhi became dictator, almost like a dictator. She did not recognize anybody. Even the greatest leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan, except Jayaprakash Narayan, everybody is jailed. That was the scenario, right? So under such circumstances, when Janata Party came to power in 1977, I repeat, already Morarji Desai, he was jailed. Now he again comes back to power in 1977. Then obviously what he does, he wanted to protect that opposition voice also, na? Because he experienced some injustice there during the Indira Gandhi period. For that reason, yes, he has made, his government, the Janata Party government made this act. What is the act? Salary and allowances of the leaders of opposition in the parliament. So this is correct. Till this portion it is correct, which requires the leader of opposition to belong to a party with not less than 1/10 of the total strength of the house. Always remember, when there is a technical point, especially about numbers mentioned in the statement, most probably that will be wrong. Most probably, because See, if I have to make it wrong, the only thing I can change is 1/10 can be 1/5. I can write like that. I can just replace the word 1/10 with some other number. So the potential to make a statement wrong by the examiner is more in numbering statements. So here 1/10 is actually, there is no provision like that. What this statement is saying, this office is recognized by particular act, correct. Leader of opposition comes from this act. But the wrong statement here, the statement is leader of opposition to belong to a party with not less than 1/10 of the total strength of the house. That means it is saying at least 1/10 of seats that a party should have, so that the leader of that party will be represented as the leader of opposition. Is there any criteria like that in this act? No, because we don't know. They may get 1/10 or they may not get 1/10. What the only thing is, they should have the majority than other parties. For example, BJP is there, ruling party. Now INC is there. They are having only 200 MPs seats, let us say. Now other parties are having some 150 MPs, 60 MPs. So those people with single largest majority other than the ruling party, their leader will become the leader of opposition. But there is no rule whether this number 200 should be 1/10 of the total strength or less than 1/10. No, nothing is described. Only if it is single largest party than others in the opposition, then their leader will be recognized as the leader of opposition. So where is the statement went wrong? At this position. There is no rule like 1/10. That's the only idea. So which one of the following is correct is only statement 1 is correct. Next. If India were to adopt the proportional representation system in place of the first past, this is also mains potential question. Please focus. Mains potential comparative question. Now if India goes for this system, proportional representation, rather than the first past the post system, for elections to Lok Sabha, which one of the following is the most likely consequence? Now again, a small backup understanding. What is first past the post system? There are 5 candidates in the constituency contesting. Now out of the 5 candidates, who is getting the majority of the votes will be the winner. That is the idea. Winner takes all. That is the principle in the first past the post system. Now is there any condition that the winner should get at least more than 50% of the votes of constituency? No, only he should be ahead of all the other members. That's the only criteria we have. This is our system. We are following for that. Lok Sabha. Now the other system is proportional representation. So within there are no constituencies in the proportional representation system. No territorial constituencies will be there. Example is I can take like Israel. Israel follows this method, proportional representation method. What they do, the total country, they will go for elections. Let us say 3 parties are there. 3 parties. Now people will vote only for the party. There is no territorial constituency, there is no MP contestants, etc. Only people will contest on the party symbol. Only political parties will be there. Now, who should be in the power? That is the question given to the people. So people will vote. I'm sorry. So people will vote. Out of the 3 parties, they may get around 50% one party, another 20% votes, another and 30% votes. Now within the same total number of the seats in the Lok Sabha of that particular country, 50 seats will be given to first party, 20 seats will be given to second party, and 20 seats will be given to other party. So this is the proportional representation system. Now the comparative aspect is, if we go for Lok Sabha elections with the proportional representation system, what is the likely outcome? Just imagine greater likelihood of the formation of stable single party governments at the union level. Is it possible? When we are going for this exactly distribution of votes and distribution of seats equally, obviously 20% will be from other parties, another 20% will be from other parties. So every party is represented at the national level. So when every party is being represented, can we expect a stable single party governments in proportional representation system? No, obviously every party will be represented. So this is wrong, because there is no stable single party method. Next, reduce the representation of the smaller political parties in the Lok Sabha. See, if I go for proportional representation, what is the advantage I am getting? Even just 5% votes, I am a very small political party. I got only 5% of the votes. Even I will be represented by giving 5 seats. So 5% votes means 5 seats we will get. Even the smaller political parties are getting representation. But actually it is saying reduced representation. Is it reduced or increasing for smaller parties? It is increasing. Representation of smaller parties will also be increasing in the proportional system. So this is also wrong. Now a closer alignment between the percentage of the votes polled and the percentage of the seats obtained, exactly that's what PR. What is proportional representation? Closer alignment will be there between what? The votes, percentage of the votes and the percentage of the seats. That's what PR, right? Proportional representation. So this is correct. Third statement. Fourth one, elimination of the coalition politics due to the proportional allocation of the seats. See, when seats are given proportionally to every political party, what we generally expect, no political party will get majority like this. because people, small segment of people will support other party, some other segment will support their caste party or some religion parties, etc. So everybody will be there in the government formation, right? So there is no scope for the statement says no scope for coalition politics, but actually what happens, coalition politics will increase, because every party should become part of the government then. So this is not elimination, actually it progresses the coalition politics if PR is there. And for the same reasons we have adopted not the proportional representation. We want what? Stable single party governments. We want what? Smaller parties to be actually this is a negative point in the first past the post system. Smaller parties don't get any voice because they don't win any seats. They will get some 4%, 5% seats, votes, but will that be converted into seats? No, there is no guarantee. That's the negative point about first past the post system. So these are the things, conceptual things, please keep in mind. The answer is here C. Closer alignment will be there between single percentage of the seats and percentage of the votes. Next. What's the question about? Next one. With reference to the procedural devices of the parliament. Procedural devices. We have different motion. What is a motion? If I want to speak something in the assembly or Lok Sabha, I have to move a motion, and speaker has to admit that. Now calling attention motion, privilege motion, censor motion. Please remember, English will almost solve our problem. English, calling attention. I am calling attention of you, Dinesh. That means, hello, Dinesh sir, please listen to me. That's what the tone of this motion. That means, hello, you are a minister. Actually, you have to do something. Right now, there is an issue, but you are not doing it. What I am doing? I am calling you for attention of you on a particular issue. So, calling attention issue is only to not to disgrace the minister, not to make him feel disrespected. It is only to get the attention of the MP. We generally, or a minister, we go for this motion. So this is one thing. Second thing is privilege motion. Privilege motion means, let us say you are a minister and you have spoken something like unparliamentary language in the assembly or Lok Sabha. Now other members who feel it is unparliamentary, now to just check the minister's behavior, they will pass this motion, privilege motion. Okay. Now censure means stopping the minister from doing something. So it's almost like an insult. A minister is going to speak something or going to do something, and he is stopped by this censor motion. No, you should not do that. That means it's a direct insult on the particular minister. So now the question is, adoption of how many of the above motions by the House can result in the formal disapproval of the conduct of a minister. Formal disapproval, that means something you are doing wrong, now I am making you accountable. Such type of tone where we can listen that calling attention, is it a disapproval of behavior? No, I am just calling you as a minister, please focus on that particular issue. It's like a respectful application of something, an issue like that. So it is not a disrespectful thing towards a minister. But privilege motion, yes. Censor motion, yes. In both of these cases, minister conduct is not good. So when the minister conduct is not good, we go for censor motion or the privilege motion. So the answer is 2 and 3. Only 2 statements are related to the disapproval of a conduct. Now 8th one. What is the question? With reference to functioning of the Council of Ministers. Okay. So the resignation of the government becomes constitutionally necessary. Necessary means government must resign. Okay. In which of the following circumstances? The passing of a no confidence motion, obviously. When no confidence motion is passed by opposition party, the government has to resign. Correct. Now the defeat of the motion of thanks to the president's address in the Lok Sabha. See, I have been explaining this to somebody else in the morning session. In every parliamentary session, winter session, budget session, or some other sessions, first, who is the first person to speak in the session? It is the presidential address. Presidential address. What he speaks, he presents the policy and the agenda for the session. So when the presidential address is going on, at the end, motion of thanks will be generally passed. Motion means always anything you want to do in the parliament, you have to pass a motion. So motion of thanks. Why thanks? Because president is presenting the policy of the government. Now if the motion of thanks is defeated, that means actually president's policy is defeated. That means the agenda of the total session is defeated. The house of the people, they don't want it. So in such circumstance, obviously government has to resign. Okay, this is the idea. Third one, the defeat of a money bill. So there is no explanation needed for this. So if the money bill is defeated in the sessions, that means obviously government has to resign. That means it lost the majority opinion. Next, the defeat of a confidence motion in the mode by the Prime Minister. Sometimes what happens is, not the opposition, now sometimes even the ruling party will go for confidence motion. That means they want to prove to the country that we have the enough numbers. So if they go for such confidence motion and suddenly some horse trading happened and some MLAs or MPs, they will go against the ruling party. Then what happens? Obviously Prime Minister, he went for confidence motion, but it failed. Under such circumstances, obviously he has to face the insult. That means the government has to resign. So these are the 4 circumstances in which government resigns. So excellent concept, right? So we are getting how government should be taken away. With reference to the Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Deputy Speaker, okay, as per the rules of procedure and conduct of business, the election of the Deputy Speaker shall be held on such a date as the Speaker may fix. Obviously, that's what the protocol. First Speaker election will happen and then Deputy Speaker election will happen. Who will fix the date? Anything after the Speaker's election, he will be taking care of the House. So this is correct. Speaker will fix the date so that Deputy Speaker election happens. There is mandatory provision. Mandatory. Please focus on these words. Mandatory provision that the election of a candidate as Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha shall be from either the principal opposition party or the ruling party. See, when KCR was the CM, we have seen Kadiyam Srihari, the Deputy CM. And right now when CBN is the CM, we are seeing Pawan Kalyan as the Deputy CM. Is Pawan Kalyan from principal opposition party? Is Pawan Kalyan from principal opposition party in Andhra Pradesh? No, right? They are from the same coalition. So is there any rule, any mandatory provision which says Deputy Speaker should come? Sorry, I'm not saying, I'm speaking about Deputy CM and Deputy CMs, right? So just you can replace this CM with the Speaker also. The logic is same. I'm just giving you like a very familiar example. So Deputy CM should come from only opposition. Is there any rule like that? No, right? So exactly, even Deputy Speaker, he can be anybody. Speaker and the ruling party will decide. He can be from any particular party. There is no mandatory provision to be from opposition party. Okay? And generally, why opposition party will be given such respect? Deputy Speaker position, nobody will give, right? So that's the idea. So second statement is wrong. There is no mandatory provision like they should be from opposition party. Coming to the third statement, Deputy Speaker has the same power as of the Speaker when presiding over the sitting of the House and appeal lies against his rulings. Correct? See, you can just replace Speaker with Deputy Speaker, but still he behaves as if he is the Speaker. That's the idea, right? So when he is not there, same powers can be enjoyed by Deputy Speaker also. This is correct. When he is presiding the sitting of the House and no appeal lies against his rulings. Why? That is what the Speaker's powerful position. Please keep this in mind. If somebody asks you why Speaker position is very important in the country, you have to tell that Speaker has every power to order something within the House, and that order can never be questioned even in the Supreme Court. Can never be questioned even in the high courts. Nothing. So no court has interpreted power towards the rulings of the Speaker. Speaker's decision is final. For example, disqualification. If he decides on disqualification of a particular MP, his decision is final. Till at least 2021, I think. Till 2021, it was like that. So Speaker's decision was final in the disqualification. But now recently, as we all know, Supreme Court will always enlarge its scope. Now Supreme Court said, no, even the Speaker's decisions are also subjected to judicial review. That is the right now current trend. But here, coming to the static portion, this is correct. No appeal lies against the rulings because even Speaker's rulings are final. Okay, so this is correct. Now the well-established parliamentary practice. See, these words are traps. Mandatory, well-established practices. These are like sugar-coating statements. So definitely there is a trap. Okay, the well-established parliamentary practice regarding the appointment of Deputy Speaker is the motion is moved by the Speaker. So who should be elected as the Deputy Speaker is started by the Speaker. That means Speaker will start a motion and he says that let us say Shreya should be the Deputy Speaker of our Lok Sabha. Now the Speaker will pass a motion, and that motion, the statement says, it should be seconded by the Prime Minister. Even Prime Minister should say, yeah, Shreya should be the Deputy Speaker. Is there any rule like Speaker should start it, the motion, and Prime Minister should second it? No. There is no rule like that. Deputy Speaker will be generally elected by whom? The MPs. MPs will elect it. Just that will happen. So fourth statement is wrong. What is the answer here? First statement correct, second statement wrong, and again third. See, you can take care of those things. Then 10th one. With reference to functioning of the Indian Parliament, rule of lapse. Generally, where do we listen this lapse? Lapsing of bills. Yes or no? Lapsing of bills. So in the legislation process, we listen that. Now, regarding rule of lapse, most closely relates to what? Confidence motions under Article 75. Did you ever listen that confidence motion was in lapse? No, because if confidence motion moved, then obviously government will stay. If the confidence motion is defeated, then government will resign. But there is no such thing like confidence motion is lapse. Only lapse happens when Lok Sabha dissolved and went for fresh elections. During that period, some particular bill which was passed by Lok Sabha, because that was an outgoing government, right? So when outgoing party has already passed a bill in the Lok Sabha, see, this is very important. Please focus on this. I'm just explaining you the concept of the lapse. What is lapse means? There is Lok Sabha, old Lok Sabha, and now elections came in 2024 May, let us say. But in the April month itself, that Lok Sabha has passed a bill, the bill of women's reservation, let us assume like that. Now elections happened and new party came to power. Now let us say INC came to power. Now why this bill, which is only passed by Lok Sabha, not yet passed by the Rajya Sabha, before the elections, will lapse? Why it lapses? It lapses because the new government is completely different. Elections happened and new party came to power. Maybe these MPs might not believe in the bill. For that reason, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved before the elections and it already passed a particular bill, that bill will stand lapse after the election is over. That's the idea of the lapse. Lapse means when people's will is already vanished because of the last party bill. Now the new political party, new will should be represented. For that reason, that bill will be lapsed. Now, after this idea, is there anything to do with confidence motion? No. Quorum requirements under, see, quorum. What is quorum? If a session has to start, at least 1/10 of the people should be there in the house. Only then a session will start. Actually, that's what the quorum is. For example, I am the Lok Sabha speaker. I am going to conduct a new session on a new debate. Now, should I start the debate or not is depending on the quorum. Quorum means at least 1/10 of the total house should be present. Without the members, we cannot debate, right? So that's the idea of the quorum. But can the quorum requirements has anything to do with lapse? No, lapse is about making of laws, making of bills. So it has nothing to do with that. Unspent budgetary grants lapsing at the end of the financial year. This is correct. Okay. And another one is bills lapsing upon the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Now, the unspent budgetary grants, that means already budget has given allocated some money to, let us say, defense ministry, but they are unspent. So if one particular ministry is not spending its money, allocated money, obviously that money will be carry forward to the next year. Okay, so that ministry can use that money for the next year. For example, Nirbhaya Fund. If you see Nirbhaya Fund, it was established with 1000 crores initially after the Nirbhaya incident. So, but for next 10 years, this money was not at all used by governments. 1000 crore was just like that. It was staying in the same account like that. So, what after 10 years, what government realized was, now this Nirbhaya Fund can be used for other works also. It has relaxed the condition. So, like that, if your budgetary grants are not being spent, then obviously it is lapse. So, the idea of lapse is not here. Actually, you can carry forward. They will not lapse. It can carry forward to the next year. So even this is not your answer. Bills lapsing upon the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Obviously, when Lok Sabha went, the old Lok Sabha went and new Lok Sabha comes. Between that period, if a bill is already passed by Lok Sabha, that will lapse. That will stand lapse. So we can say like it is related to something legislature. Okay. There is a trap here. Just focus on the C and D option. Option is C. The reason is bills lapsing upon the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. That means old Lok Sabha is there. It was dissolved due to any reason, like President's rule is there. During President's rule, will the Lok Sabha be, sorry, not President's rule, during national emergency, Article 352, will the Lok Sabha be there or not? During Article 352, will the Lok Sabha be there or not? Will the Lok Sabha exist during the Article 252? That's the question. National emergency. During the President's rule, Article 356, can the state legislatures exist or not? These are the two important questions. During President's rule, there is no state legislature, but during a national emergency, there will be state legislatures. Okay, but the power, the concurrent overriding power is given to the Parliament. Now, here the answer is unspent budgetary grants lapsing at the end of the financial year. See, why answer C? I will explain you. What I am saying is when already the budget is allocated to particular ministry, like Nirbhaya Fund, that can be carried forward to other year. But the thing is, if they are unspent, which are only given for 1 year, this is here the fund. It's the fund nature is like a continuing. But if the budget only for that, the idea here is the budgetary grants. What I have explained till now is unspent grants which are lapsing at the financial year is wrong. But here, if it is budget mentioned in the budget means only for 1 year. So within the 1 year, you have to spend that money. So budgetary grants generally will go for lapsing. budgetary grants will go for lapse. But if you take out the word budgetary and if I read this, unspent grants will lapse at the end of the financial year, that was wrong. Because they don't lapse, they will carry forward. Example like Nirbhaya fund. So in that sense here, the option is C. Because there is budgetary. Budget means within the 1 year they have to spend. If they don't spend, obviously they will lapse. Okay. So here option is C because of that. Next, 11th one, reports of the parliamentary committees are not legally binding on the government. Not legally binding on the government. See, we have different parliamentary committees. Standing committees are there. Ad hoc committees are there. Two types of committees. Standing committees means they will be like permanent. For 2 years, 1 year, they will be there. For ad hoc means only upon the particular issue they will be formed, and once the issue is over, they will be collapsed. So now says parliamentary committees reports, they are not legally binding on the government. See, if there is a legal boundedness to the reports of any particular committee, can the government first forms any committee at all? Because they feel pressurized, right? If I have to form a committee, let us say with you, now you have given a recommendation against my own self-interest, my own particular government's interest. Can I go again for the formation of any committee at all? No, right? So this is like binding nature. Not legally binding is like generally correct. So if they are binding, then obviously no committee will be entertained by the government. So for that reason it is correct. Now parliamentary committees derive their authority from the rules of procedure of the houses and function as the parliamentary control over the executive. Now, see, what does parliamentary committees do? They will take up an issue and they will go to a closed room and they will discuss whether that issue should be entertained or not, the bill should be entertained or not. It's like a closed room meeting, right? So, obviously, parliamentary members, the MPs, are discussing about a particular bill which is proposed by the government. That means parliamentary control over the executive. Is it there or not? Yes. So parliamentary committees means simply they will control the executive. That is correct. And now second statement says it derives the authority from the rules of procedure of the house. And see, who should go for the commissioning of parliamentary committees? Who will make them? Who will establish them? It is the speaker. Parliamentary committees are generally the head of the particular house, maybe the speaker or maybe the chairman, based on the which type of body it is. So generally speaker will go for that, right? Formation of these committees. That means speaker should follow some rules. And what is the rule? Rules of procedure of the house, correct. But the point here is, can the statement 2 has anything to do with the statement 1? That's the idea. So if you see here, both statements are correct in individual sense. But why they are not legally binding? Is there any reason explained here? I repeat, why they are not legally binding? Is there any reason explained in the statement 2? No, it is just telling that the committee derives the authority from rules of procedure. It's okay, but what happened with the legal boundedness? No reason is explained here. So in a way, both statements are correct, but there is no connection between these two. There is no explanation of statement 1 by the statement 2. So it does not explain the statement 1. That's the idea. Next. 12th one, very factual question. Okay. So public accounts committee, estimates committee, departmentally related standing committees, 3 committees have been given. Now the question is, primary basis of examination, what they do, simply what they do, public accounts. That means they will look into the accounts of people generally, that means the people's money, wherever we kept consolidated fund of India and different funds of India, they will look into. Estimates committee means budget is already proposed by the government. Now, is it right or not to allocate that amount of money to particular ministry? That will be estimated by any different committee. Now, departmentally related standing committees. So, they will look into that particular department's audits. Okay. So, now the question is, it reports on the Controller and Auditor General. Who will look into that is the question. Now, performance of the public sector undertakings. Who will go into that? And bills, demands for grants, and annual reports of the ministries. See, first of all, bills. Bills means generally any bill. If a Lok Sabha is making any bill, that means bills are scrutinized by which committee? Public accounts, bills. Is there anything to do with money? No, right? Demands for grants, yes, it has something to do with money. Demands for grants. Now, annual reports of the ministries. Annual reports means whatever the money which was spent by particular ministry. Now, some committee should be there looking onto that particular thing. So, here comes, you have to find the core works like public sector undertakings. Now, who will look after that? Is it the estimates committee or public accounts committee or departmentally related standing committee? Now, elimination. Department. That means there is a science and technology department. Is it having anything to do with PSUs? No. So the question is how many of the above pairs are correct. If this is the question, then you should look for all the three. We can't eliminate. But if the question is like which of the following are correctly matched, then we can eliminate these options. So in these type of questions, what I expect is you should have all the data about all particular committees. Unless and until you have that, you can't solve it. So just let us see all the types of committees that we have, so that we can have an overview if they are given here. Public Accounts Committee. Public account, that means whatever the government body is there, if it is spending correctly or not, who should take care of that? Obviously the auditor and controller general. Their reports will be taken looked into by the Public Accounts Committee. Now second one you see here, public undertakings. I have already told you that public undertakings has nothing to do with estimates committee. Why? Because estimates committee will look into the budget aspects, the demand for grants, etc. So it has nothing, estimate, the word itself is related to what? The budget. So it has nothing to do with this public undertakings. Now third one, you can see departmentally related. Something like that particular department's demand for grants, that particular department's bills. That means Ministry of Science and Technology coming up with a bill. That bill will be scrutinized by the third one, departmentally standing committee. Now annual reports of the particular ministry will also be looked into by the departmental related committee. So here what I can say is analysis role is very less. Such type of questions. What matters is the factual content. That means we have to remember the names of the committees, we have to remember what they look into. So here analysis, if we do too much of analysis, what happens is too much of confusion. Too much of analysis, too much of confusion in the factual questions. So rather than that, what we can do is just maintain a chart, a small chart, committee and what it does. Committee and what it does. Major committees like 6 to 7 committees, just revise them again and again and again. So factual content, there is no much to see here. The power of the governor to reserve a bill passed by the state legislature. So now you can use this point at the federalism aspect. We have discussed this someday also. Governor has this power to reserve a bill. It's a discretionary power. Now because of governor is having that power, he is always reserving the bills for president. That's the misuse. We have discussed this point also, governor office. Now this power for consideration of the president primarily reflects which of the following constitutional principle. Constitutionally, what is the idea behind this reservation of bill to president? See, the bill is referred to whom? President. That means indirectly it is referring to whom? Union government itself. And president is the guardian of this constitutionalism in India, head of the state. So if something is going against constitution within the states, that needs to be checked upon. For that reason, president has to be given that opportunity to check again, once again, whether the bill is correct or not. That's the idea. Now let us see prior judicial scrutiny of the state legislation before enactment. See, is president a part of judicial system? I repeat, is president a part of judicial system? No. So it is not a judicial scrutiny. Now, discretionary authority of the governor independent of the state council of ministers. Yeah, in a way, this is like correct. State council of ministers never say that reserve my bill for president, right? So in a way, this option is mostly sounding correct. Okay, the statement is correct. But is it the constitutional principle? Is the constitutional principle saying that governor should reserve the bill only to let that independence prevail over the COM? No, right? That's the idea. So constitutional balance between the state legislative autonomy and union interest. Exact wording of the constitution. See, we have given autonomy, not sovereign. Please remember, when you see states are sovereign, you need to cut that statement. States are not sovereign in our India. States are having only autonomy. But in the name of autonomy, if a state is going for making of any type of particular law, but which is going against the union interest, under such circumstances, obviously, we should check it. So, union have different interests, states are having different interests. When they are colliding with each other, then that reservation of bill should be going for the president. So, under such circumstances, this is the idea. Why constitution is given this article? Because to check if the union interests are hurt by any means by the State Legislatures Act. That's the idea. Legislative supremacy of the parliament over the... Who said that? Did constitution say parliament is superior than state legislature? Did constitution say no? Parliament derives the power from constitution and also state legislatures derive the power from constitution. They are separately origin. It's like a twin. They are like twins. They are not one above the other. Federalism says that we have two different governments formed, two legislatures formed out of the same constitution. So they are twins, but they are not elder brother and younger brother. So in a way, there is no supremacy of parliament. There is no supremacy of states. So answer is C. That's the idea. So conceptual part I am focusing more upon. That factual part you can see. Consider the following states of India: Karnataka, Maharashtra, Odisha, West Bengal. How many of the states listed above have a bicameral? Is a very, very, very factual question. So bicameral legislation, what I have understood was, see, I will tell you the logic, how to remember that. initially Britishers came and settled in, first East India Company came in the East India, that means Orissa, West Bengal, all these things, and then we have Madras Presidency, Bombay Presidency, and Calcutta region. So we have three different presidencies are there now. Only in that particular areas we see the establishment of the bicameral systems. Mostly that was the logic, because initially the evolution of parliament and evolution of all these started from there. So just based on that you can just have an elimination here. Karnataka, because it was under Bombay Presidency, so they have that. Then Maharashtra, they also it was under Bombay Presidency of East India Company, so they have that. But Odisha, it has nothing to do with directly, because the seat of power was Calcutta. It was not Odisha. Seat of power, where there is seat of power of British Indians, generally we see that evolution of bicameralism. So this is how I remembered. Okay. So Odisha, no. Coming to West Bengal, this is like an exception. Why? Because Governor General of Bengal now became Governor General of India. Okay. This only this thing you have to remember. Except that all will work. This logic will work for except West Bengal. Okay. If you see Telangana, we have MLCs. If you see Andhra Pradesh, there is no MLC concept right now. Jagan wanted to introduce that concept, but MLC concept was not there. Now, if you see Tamil Nadu, completely eradicated. Tamil Nadu did not follow that MLC concept. So only there are 6 states in India which follow MLCs. The MLC means legislative councils. Okay. So here, Karnataka correct, Telangana correct, Maharashtra correct, and then what else we have? UP also we see, because of the central legislature. Okay, so only 6 states are there. Just I can't remember the other 2. So focus on that. Okay, Karnataka, Telangana, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh. 60 states have the bicameral legislature. We can see here. So Andhra Pradesh, YSRCP wanted to eliminate or vanish this legislative council 3 years back. I forgot. It was not to introduce, but it was to abolish the legislative council. There was a proposal from YS Jagan, but it was not accepted. Okay, so Andhra Pradesh, remember like that. Jagan wanted to abolish the legislative council because of various reasons, but it was not fructified. So right now they have the legislative councils. Telangana, obviously we have MLCs, and Uttar Pradesh, I have said they have MLCs because that was the central province once upon a time, and Bihar, both are part of the same central provinces. Okay, so Maharashtra and Karnataka, because they are part of Bombay. So Bombay Presidency, here Andhra, Telangana are also part of Madras Presidency, and Uttar Pradesh, Bihar are part of central provinces. For that reason, that's the idea how I have remembered them. So initially when British Indians were ruling the places, they developed the bicameralism. Now a person belonging to scheduled caste, SC, contests elections from a constituency not reserved for the scheduled caste. Is there any bar on SCs to contest a non-reserved seat in India? Is there any bar like that? Non-reserved seat means anybody can contest. An SC can contest, ST can contest, anybody. So a person belonging to SC may contest elections from not reserved constituencies also. So this statement is correct. He can contest from anywhere. A SC have to contest in the SC reserved area. That is one criteria. But an SC can also contest in the non-reserved area also. Now, second thing, Article 332 of the Constitution mandates reservation of the seats for the scheduled caste in the legislative assemblies of the states. So here it's like a factual question. If you see the second statement, is it the Article 332 or some other article? I also could not remember. You can just see here. Probably there is a change. Explicitly mandates seats shall be reserved for SCs and STs in the legislative assemblies of the states in proportion to their population. But there is a third statement. Is there any other statement also? Yeah. So reservation of the this is correct statement, because most of the times what I do is I don't remember the articles. Okay, because it's impossible to remember every article. These type of questions, it's like up to you, the unique abilities of you. If you can remember, revise, then it's fine. But if our memory is weak, obviously I could not clear first my prelims is because of that. So I was not good at these facts. I don't love to remember the facts, and that actually costed my attempt. The first attempt was wasted because of only I could not able to remember the articles and all these things. I understand the concept and I leave it. That was my attitude. But actually it costed me a lot. So now my advice for you is that please don't like me. Don't behave like me. Please focus again. Read. The same articles again revise. Only then you can remember them. Now third one is reservation of constituencies under Article 332. Operates as a limitation on the constituencies and not as a restriction on the electoral rights of the candidates. Correct? Why? Because if there is a SC constituency, let us say, is there any separate electorate concept in the constituency? that only SCs will vote for SC candidate. No, this limitation is only for constituencies, but not for the people. Electoral rights will be given to everybody. Even the STs can vote for SC candidate, or Hindu upper caste people can vote for the SC candidate. So there is no limitation on the electoral rights, but the limitation is only on the constituency contesting power, contesting eligibility. So here comes this statement is correct. Now if you see second statement, third statement, they are correct, and both of them explain the statement 1. So here comes like a analytical power. First statement is saying SC candidates can contest in non-SC areas, correct? Second statement says there is an article which says in the state legislative assemblies SC's reserved seats will be there. So this is also correct, and actually because of the SC reserved quota, now the mentioning of this a person belonging to SC, so that idea is there. So here is in a way it is explaining statement 1. Why SC candidate can contest non-SC reserved seats? Because there are some other seats which are reserved only for SCs. For that reason, this statement is given. Now, third statement says reservation, it operates only on the constituencies, not on the electoral rights. Even this also explains the statement 1, because there is no bar on the electoral rights of the people. SC candidate can also contest in the non-SC candidate. So, both statements are explaining statement 1. Such type of questions, what you have to do is just get the knack of the concept. What first one is speaking about, what second one is speaking about, is there any relation or not? You have to just conceptually connect it. If you can get some relation, obviously that statement might be explaining the statement 1. If they are completely unrelated, most of the times what happens is, if they are completely unrelated, very easiest question, you can eliminate, there is no explanation, etc. Now consider the following statements regarding the evolution of the Indian judiciary. The jurisdiction and powers of the Supreme Court of India are more extensive than those of the federal court established under the Government of India Act 1935. So this is like a history cum polity question. History cum polity question. So what it is saying, Supreme Court, its origin and its powers are extensive over the federal court which is created in the 1935. Obviously, Supreme Court is having which type of powers? Original powers are there, and advisory powers are also there for Supreme Court, and under 142 article it can do complete justice also, the complete justice article. That means it can do anything for doing complete justice. So it is like powerful court was established in India after 1947. Okay, but federal court, which was once envisaged in the 1935 Act, it was having only union list and concurrent list, but the residual powers were given to whom? Is it given to the federal court or given to the local high courts? The residual powers were given to the high courts. Why? Because provincial autonomy was favored in the 1935. That's the reason 1937 provincial autonomy governments came. 1937 in the history we have studied, right? So in a way, what this is saying, federal court is not powerful than the Supreme Court. The once federal court was having only limited powers, but our Supreme Court is having the powers which are extensive and wide. This is correct. Now the Supreme Court of India replaced both the federal court and the judicial committee of the Privy Council, thereby unifying the ultimate appellate jurisdiction for all civil and criminal matters. So what it is saying is, after 1947 Supreme Court came and it replaced what all the different bodies. It replaced Federal Court of the 1935, correct, and there was a Privy Council. What is this council? Council means which is an appointed body, okay, which is not directly elected body. That is called council. Now there is a committee, judicial committee, that means members from judicial background who are taking care of the Privy Council. Privy Council means which takes care of the states. The princely states are there now. When the princely states were integrated into the Indian Union, the government offered them, let us say, regular annual pensions. For example, Nizam is there now. So when Nizam Operation Polo happened, after that when Nizam was integrated into the Hyderabad state was integrated into union government, now government said for Nizam family who were ruling since last 150 years, 200 years, for them we will give some annual payment. Some annual payment we will give because you are integrating your princely states into India. For that reason, there was a special council created only for taking care of the interest of the ruling people, the ruling nobility, etc. So that council was Privy Council. It was abolished later in the 1960s and 70s. But to take care of that, why? Because Nizam said it is my right. I was ruling since last 200 years, but suddenly I have to lose all the revenues, all the luxury lifestyle, etc. It's very difficult to sustain the lifestyle. For that reason, you are given compensation in the form of money. So it's like a justice. doing justice even to the ruling people. So that's the idea. So actually Supreme Court replaced both of them, so that what happened, the appellate jurisdiction for all criminal civil matters is now at the hand of the Supreme Court. So in a way this statement says Supreme Court has absorbed all the different bodies and different appellate jurisdictions. This is also correct. So statement 1, 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains the statement 1. What is the statement 1? It says Supreme Court is powerful. Why it is powerful? But because it replaced both the federal court and also the judicial committee of the Privy Council. For these two reasons, it is powerful. So statement 1, statement 2, and the relation. Next, 17.1, seat of the Supreme Court of India. So regarding that, Constitution explicitly declares Delhi as the seat of the Supreme Court. No. Is there any constitutional article which says Supreme Court should be established only in Delhi? No. Initially, if you speak, even the British Indian times, originally Supreme Court, the federal court was actually there, Kolkata. It was not in Delhi also. So in Delhi, actually capital city changed in 1911 during the period of Viceroy, who was there, I forgot the name, but Lord Hardinge, I think. Lord Hardinge. So upon him there was an attack by Khudiram Bose and all these people. You know the history, right? So in a way, 1911 was the change of seat of power. Till then, Supreme Court, there is no rule. Simply to say, there is no residence rule in the Constitution where the Supreme Court should be there, etc. Okay. So the power to appoint a place other than Delhi as the seat of the Supreme Court is vested in the Parliament to be exercised by the law. And this is correct. Actually, this in India we have Supreme Court only one branch, that is in Delhi. But ideally, Constitution has given the power to Parliament. If at all there is a need, you can even establish the Supreme Court branches regionally. That means South Indian Supreme Court branch, division bench you can establish, or East Indian Supreme Court division bench you can establish. But how? Only when Parliament thinks it is fit. It is right condition to go for expansion of the Supreme Court division benches. So in a way, Parliament by law, it can extend beyond the Delhi also, it can form the new division benches, correct. The Chief Justice of India can take the decision to sit at a place other than the Delhi only with the prior approval of the President. So in a way, this sounds right? So Chief Justice of India means he should be actually at the main headquarters of the Supreme Court. But if he feels that he should sit at other place rather than Delhi, obviously there should be some check and balance. He cannot escape his responsibility, right? So some check and balance will be there in the form of the presidential approval. So the prior approval is generally needed. Next, with reference to the procedure for the appointment of a judge of a high court, very important theme, appointments of judicial posts. Okay. So we have discussed even the national judicial services, right? Today we have discussed it. So all India judicial services, judge of a high court appointment. Now following constitutional authorities participate in the process of the appointment of a judge of high court. So who else are included? That's the idea. Obviously, see, Chief Justice of India will be there because he should be taking the responsibility. Now Chief Justice of the concerned high court. Concerned high court means right now a person is there. And he was appointed as the High Court judge of, let us say, Telangana. He has to be appointed. Now, when he has to be appointed in this particular court, obviously the head of this court is the High Court Supreme Chief Justice. He has to be consulted. Other than that, we can't go for just unilateral thing. These two are correct. Governor of the concerned state. Governor. What governor has to do with the High Court judge? Is there anything that an executive and judiciary? Already president is there now. President consultation will definitely be there. So when president is already there, is there any rule for need for the governor? Because governor is like a mini president. Okay, so there is no need to consult the governor of the particular state. Only Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice of concerned high court, and the president. Okay. Next. This option has given like fourth one. You can see here. The third judges court said, in the High Court appointment, Chief Justice of India should consult collegium of the two senior most judges. So this collegium background also, please look into that. If you see here, the governor was given as right. Okay, this option D has given. So governor has given a right. So I will just look into it. Actually, conceptually speaking, governor has nothing to do with the High Court judge appointment. But I will just look into it and I will let you know whether it is correct or not. Okay, but according to me, it should be 1, 2, 3 only. According to my understanding, okay, but let's see the factual point. The answer is given as D. I'll check it later and I'll let you know. Which of the following constitutional arrangements most clearly distinguishes the Indian judiciary from its colonial predecessor? Colonial predecessor means again the same theme is repeated. You can see there are 3 questions. federal court, on the federal court concept. So please understand that comparative aspect may be very, very important for this year. Comparative aspect, because decolonization of the mindset that Narendra Modi is speaking about, and decolonization of the institutions we are speaking about continuously. So in that aspect, comparison of colonial institutions and non-colonial decolonized institutions is very important, the theme. Now Indian judiciary with the predecessor, vesting of the judicial appointments exclusively in the executive authority. In the colonial period, what happened? Only executive, that means the governor, the particular governor general, he used to appoint the judges, all the judges of that particular, maybe the presidential, Madras presidency, etc. Now this vesting was only this is the idea, only exclusive in the executive authority. Is it right now we followed in India? Once upon a time it was correct, but now in the Indian judiciary, are we following this exclusively executive authority appointments? No, right? Not only president, along with the president, we are going for even the Chief Justice of India. Collegium system is there in the appointment. So in that sense, exclusively this was a once upon a time idea. Right now, Indian judiciary do not follow this exclusive executive appointment. Integration of the constitutional adjudication, final appellate authority, and rights enforcement in a single apex court. See, this one, how I can eliminate this point? Rights enforcement in a single apex court. In India, shall we go only to Supreme Court for enforcement of fundamental rights, or shall we also can we go to these high courts? We can go to high courts, right? So you can eliminate this statement. So exclusively only the final integration of all these things only in the apex court? No. Even high courts are there for this rights enforcement. So in that way, this is wrong. Third one, subordination of the judicial decisions to legislative override in matters of the public interest. Integration of the constitutional justice, integration of the constitutional adjudication. Constitutional adjudication obviously Supreme Court will do. Final appellate authority, correct, and rights enforcement. Here there is no exclusively right. That word not mentioned, right? Exclusively right enforcement in a single apex court means it is wrong. But in a way, it is saying like Supreme Court will take care of the enforcement, rights enforcement. So it's like a general statement. In that sense, B is correct. Did you get my point? First time I have crossed this statement as wrong by, because I interpreted it as exclusively rights enforced in a single apex court. If that statement is given, it is wrong, because high courts are also there. But this statement is saying like Supreme Court can go for constitutional adjudication, it can go for final appellate authority, and it is the rights enforcement also. That means, yes, along with it, some other body might be there, but Supreme Court can also enforce the rights. So in a way, it's a generic statement, so B is correct in that sense. If it is exclusively, that word is used, then it is wrong. Now, subordination of judicial decisions to legislative override in matters of when Indian judiciary is there, obviously, these judicial decisions will never be given to legislative authority, right? It will not just give away that power of judicial adjudication to assembly. It cannot give away to Lok Sabha. So in a way, this is wrong. Even if it is in the public interest, it cannot give away its responsibility. Now, absence of advisory jurisdiction in the constitutional manner. Already advisory jurisdiction is there. So President will ask for advices, right? Supreme Court. So there is advisory jurisdiction, but it is saying options. So this is wrong. This is wrong because judiciary will never give its responsibilities to other bodies. First one is wrong because not only executive, even the president is also involved. But why second one is right? Because here there is no exclusively, the word is used here. In that sense, it is correct. Even the Supreme Court is a rights enforcer, at the same time adjudicator, at the same time final appellate authority. So option B is correct. Next, 20th one, the proposal for the transfer of a transfer. Again, very important thing, is initiated by the Chief Justice of India, and the consent of the judge being transferred is not mandatory. Obviously, right? See, if I am to be transferred, is there any need that I should be taking into account? Generally, I am an employee, and Chief Justice of India is like an employer. He will take care whether should I be here or some other states. Nobody will contact you, and your decision is generally not taken for. Okay, so in a way, this statement is correct because there is no need of mandatory consent of the particular person. Article 222 of the Constitution provides the transfer of a judge from one court to another by the President after consultation with the Chief Justice of India. So in a way, this is also correct. See, who actually transfers? Recommendation is by Chief Justice of India, but who actually transfers? On paper, it is the President. So President will transfer the High Court judges. So this statement is correct. Article 222, again I am saying whether it is right or wrong is a factual thing. If you know it, know it. If you don't know it, just we have to go with the concept. But here UPSC may also play some trick. Instead of 222, it may give 223, etc. But that's the cheapest trick that a UPSC can go to. That's the so I can say like it cannot test our memory, right? So I don't think UPSC will test our memory. If it is a factual statement, then we should be quitting the UPSC exam also. If the question paper is like that rotten knowledge is tested, obviously we should quit the exam. Only analytical, conceptual, if there is a scope for it, then we can go for it. Now, is this statement explaining the first one? That's the question. The proposal is initiated by Chief Justice of India. That is the issue in the statement 1. And consent of the judge is not needed. Why? Is there any reason explained in the statement 2? Statement 2 is saying that transfer will happen by President after consultation with Chief Justice of India. But nothing is explained why Chief Justice of India will initiate the process. Nothing is explained like why his consent is not needed. So in a way, there is no direct explanation part, but individually we can say both statements are correct. So this is the idea. Next, 21. With reference to subjects for which tribunals, today's question, established under Article 333, this was I focused upon. So of the Constitution, consider the following. Tribunals, what they can do? Levy and collection of any tax. Which of the subjects are explicitly mentioned under Article 323? See, when the word explicitly is mentioned, this is like again a factual question. That means he expects that you should know 323b. This article should be knowing. Only if you know is fine. Otherwise, we can. So, tribunals, what they can do? Can they levy and collect any tax? Is the first one. Let us see. Let us analyze it later. Industrial disputes and labor disputes, obviously, tribunal means it needs specialized knowledge. Specialized knowledge means in labor laws, industrial laws, only they can do. So, it's correct. Elections to the parliament and state legislatures. Can tribunals have something to do with the elections? This is the idea. Explicitly, under Article 323d, is there any scope for establishment of a tribunal which is only for adjudicating the election petitions? Is there any bar on that? No. Even President can create such tribunals. President can also create, but there is no tribunal like that till date. But is there any bar to stop the tribunals to adjudicate into the elections of parliament and state legislatures? No. Right now, only Supreme Court is doing this election petitions issue. They will take care because it's like an exclusive right of Supreme Court. Till date, all election petitions will be dealt by whom? Supreme Court. But if there is a need, can a tribunal be established only for taking care of these elections? Yes. Because it's a different unique concept, right? Specialized knowledge is needed. So obviously these elections to parliament and state legislatures is possible, but right now we don't have any tribunal for that. Now, fourth one, sealing on urban property. See, urbanization is a unique concept. Specialized knowledge is needed. Again, their expertise is needed. So in that sense, we can think of, let us say, Hydra. Right now, Hydra is there now. So whatever the disputes are happening between Hydra and the people whose homes were destructed, now a new tribunal can be formed like under proper planned urbanization tribunal, etc. We can form that. So only then these Hydra people and the people who are affected, they can go to the tribunal and solve their problems. It is possible. Here the question is about the possibility. So explicitly, if you see, are they mentioned? Means should we have to go to the Bail Act? I don't know whether they are there in the article or not. But the thing is there any possibility? Correct. I'm checking the possibilities because I don't know the facts. I'm checking the possibility. Correct. These disputes, yes. Elections to parliament and all these things, tribunals can take care. And even urbanization concept, tribunals can take care. Coming to the levying of any tax, if you see NGT, we continuously listen in the news. NGT has fined, let us say, so and so company 500 crores. Why? Because they went for some deforestation, etc. So here NGT have that power to levy, and even it can enforce the idea of collection of any particular tax. Yes, because if it is needed, they can go for it, right? So here these subjects are explicitly mentioned. I don't know because it's a factual thing. Please let us go back to the 323b and check whether they are there or not. But how I can solve? Because only upon analyzing the possibility. If there is a possibility, probably Constitution also says that these things can be mentioned. So here don't too much think about the factual content. Actually, these are the points which are there. On taxation, a tribunal can go for the adjudication aspect. On foreign exchange, import, export, because they are special things. Simply what I have remembered is, if something is special, especially it needed some knowledge, obviously tribunal has some to do with something. So taxation, yes, special knowledge is needed. Tax laws, income tax laws, etc. Now imports, exports, this is a very unique knowledge. Again, industrial labor, land reforms, urban property sealing, elections to parliament and foodstuffs. These need the technical aspects. So technical aspects are there. So tribunal role will be there. Next, National Green Tribunal has been recognized by the Supreme Court as having the power to take suo motu cognizance of the environmental issue. Suo motu cognizance. See, is there any bar that a tribunal cannot take? Even the judiciary, Supreme Court will take suo motu cases. Even High Court can also take suo motu cases. So, because tribunals are simply quasi-judicial in nature, whatever the powers that are given to Supreme Court and High Court, they will be mimicked by the tribunals also. So, in a way, yes, even NGT also can go for suo motu cases. What are suo motu cases? By self. If there is, let us say there is a commission, National Human Rights Commission. If there is something which is inhuman happened in the country, some news is there. Now, the affected person need not go to court, need not go to tribunal and complain, because they are already affected. They are victims. There is a rape which happened. Already she is a victim. She can't come out and openly file a case. Now, the state or any particular commission, they themselves can go to that particular victim on behalf of them. They can file a case on themselves. This is like a self motive. Suo motu means by their self they can take up a case. So this is possible even to the NGT also. Why? Because it is working for environment, right? So environment has no voice. So the only voice that we can give is the voice of the NGT. Obviously, they represent the environment. Now NGT is not bound by the procedure laid down under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. See, this is also very technical thing. Remember, NGT means it needs environmental knowledge. Okay, that means even the problem is unique, solution will also be unique sometimes. Unique solutions will come up. So when the solutions are unique, should it be bound by something like a code of civil procedure? You should follow the step 1, step 2 in the adjudication, only then the case is judicial. No, that's the reason why we established a special tribunal. Special tribunal, they're special. That means they don't follow even the code of civil procedure also. That's the idea. But is guided by the principles of natural justice, correct? So even sometimes a person's fundamental rights are violated, but environment is saved. Under such circumstances, NGT will go for it. They don't follow the code of civil procedure, even if your rights are violated. That's the idea. So that conceptually you can go for it. Now the relation. Is there anything like civil procedure, etc., to do with the power to take suo motu organizations, suo motu cases? No, completely unrelated topics. So option can be B. Next. According to Article 236 of the Constitution, expression district judge includes how many of the following? District judge means, just you can see the answer itself directly. 236, it's like a knowledge question. Now what I generally do is, for these questions, I'll just again go back to history. I'll just analyze from the point of view of the Britishers, so that I can understand exactly. Now district courts, that means at the district level, how many different names I can give. First thing is presidency, chief presidency magistrate. Presidency means, right now, presidency means a state. In a way, a state, I can say. Madras presidency means Madras state. But if you see from the Indian central government perspective, it's like a local level, the federal unit only, na, presidency means. So now all the chief presidency magistrate, because the answer I have already seen here, because it's a factual question, I'm just interpreting it back. Reverse engineering, why this answer is right. This option is there. So presidency means obviously local thing. Local thing, it's not central. So yes, district judge can be also including this chief presidency magistrate. Then chief judicial magistrate. So for every district you will have these judicial magistrates and presidency magistrates. So who are these? Actually Article 50 speaks about the separation of executive from judiciary, right? So once upon a time, a district collector himself is the magistrate, executive magistrate himself is the judicial magistrate. But this was separated after the India got independence. So now in that sense, presidency magistrate means simply once upon a time the DM, district magistrate of the particular district. So right now this judge definition will also have presidential magistrate and the judicial magistrate. That means someone who is taking care of the CRPC and CPC, that is judicial magistrate. Someone who is enforcing the particular laws, that is district magistrate. Once upon a time both are same. The same collector is acting as judge, acting as the executive, but now they are separated. So both of them are included in the district court definition. Chief judge of a small cause court. See, be it anything, the small cause court means I don't know what is it. Even I never listened in my life. But the thing is, something smaller is there, something local is there, so regional is there. So those type of words we have to look for. So something sounding like smaller, regional, etc., federal, then obviously it might be included in the district court definition. Now coming to the last one, additional district judge. Already district is there, done. Presiding officer of a labor court. So labor is again a state concept. It is in the state list. So when something is going up with the labor, maybe it is a federal concept, that means local level concept. So obviously district court will also have the definition of that. Something, what I am looking for, something local. So if there is anything like something local, that means it's a possibility. It can be included in the district court judge definition. Stated, these type of questions are like recently in 2026 we have seen this type of question. X stated that the salaries and allowances of judges of the Supreme Court are charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India. Now, Y stated that the salaries of judges of Supreme Court cannot be reduced to their disadvantages after the appointment. Now, what is the correct conclusion of the options given below? First thing is, let us just decode. Consolidated Fund of India only for constitutional post. It is like a very important fund. Even though there is a disaster, you will get your salary. That's the idea. So, Consolidated Fund of India. Now, the salaries and allowances of judges of Supreme Court, they are charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. This is correct statement. Why? Because a judge has to be impartial. A judge has to be taking the decisions without the influence of the government. For that reason, instead of executive, we tied him to the Consolidated Fund of India. That is to ensure the independence. This is correct statement. So your salary will definitely come. Even if you have given an order against the Narendra Modi, even against the Revanth Reddy, you will get your salary back. That's what the Consolidated Fund of India linking to the judges. This is correct statement. Second one, Y stated that salaries of the judges cannot be reduced to their disadvantages after the appointment. This is also correct. See, if you are appointed as a Supreme Court judge and your salary is 2 lakhs and after 1 year you have given something against me, the order, and now I reduced your salaries. Is it possible? Will it ensure the independence of the judiciary? No. Obviously, Constitution will definitely strive for independence, right? And here the independence is about what? The salaries, about the security of tenure, all these things. So, Y X statement is correct. According to me, even the Y statement is correct. Next. Why? The answer is simply independence, to ensure the independence. Consider the following statements regarding the review petitions or the jurisdictions and curative jurisdictions of the Supreme Court. First, I'll give you the conceptual part. Curative and review. Review means, see, already Supreme Court has given first local court to High Court, a case went. Appeal, and again from High Court to Supreme Court a case again went for appeal. Now the Supreme Court adjudicated it and finalized it. It has given a statement, some sentence is given. But if something is still missed in the adjudication process, if you feel that even the Supreme Court judgment is against justice, if you are the accused person and you got wrong judgment, if you felt like that, now you can again file a new petition called as review petition. That means Supreme Court, you have done all the adjudication, it's well and good, but I feel there is something missing. You can please consider once again. It's like a one time chance that you can ask for. So Supreme Court will definitely go for review petitions, very humble. So it will go for review petitions. It's correct. Coming to the curative petition, what is curative petition? Already something damage has happened. Something damage happened. For example, High Court has said Telangana mains can be conducted just as fixed dates. Whatever the dates were fixed, you can just go on it. That incident was happened in Telangana Group 1 exams case. So High Courts, perhaps I'm assuming that High Court has given the order, go with the conducting of this mains exam. Now the case after the mains exam went to the Supreme Court, let us say, and found that the prelims list which was actually the issue was GO29 issue, GO29 issue, if you have known about that issue was like in the prelims the selection criteria was not correct. That was the issue. Whether it is true or not, it's the other thing. But after mains is already over, because High Court said just go with the exam, don't worry, go with the exam, they said. But now after 2 months, if the case went to Supreme Court and Supreme Court adjudicated the GO29 issue and said that yes, there is an issue, GO29 is not correct. If the Supreme Court says like that, then what happened? Already damage is done. That means based on the old prelims list only, people gone for mains and they have written mains, everything. Now they are ready for appointments, etc. But actually, who should be writing the mains? The original people without GO29 or GO55. I'm just assuming. I'm not giving any political statements. Just assuming like the old GO55 is correct. Under such circumstances, already damage is done. Now what Supreme Court can do is curative jurisdiction. That means even after conducting the mains exam, even after the appointments given as Deputy Collector and DSP, your job can again be taken away if the adjudication happens by Supreme Court once again and find that something is wrong in the prelims list. So curative jurisdiction means after the damage is done, but review petition, still the damage is not done. That means still that accused person is not taken away and jailed, he has been jailed. No, he has given one chance, one more chance to file a review petition before being arrested and before being sent to jail. It's like a after damage and before damage, what a person can go for. Now let us see the options. Under Article 137, Supreme Court has the power to review its own judgments on the orders, provided it is filed within the 30 days of the judgment. See, we'll go again with the reverse engineering. The option is B. We'll just see why option is B. B means there are 2 correct statements that include the statement 3. Okay, so statement 3 is 100% correct. That's the issue. Statement 3 is correct. And there is one wrong statement in 1 and 2. Now, what it is saying, the logic here is C1. If you are a person, you already got the sentence. Now, within 30 days, if you feel there is something lacking in the judgment, you have to file a review petition within 30 days. Why that 30 days is given generally? It is because whatever you do after 30 days, we consider it as manipulation. That means for 30 days you accepted the judgment, everything is done, and for you a separate prison cell has been created for you, etc. But now you are saying after 30 days, no sir, my judgment is not correct, and you have to review. So that's it. You have to within the 30 days file a review petition if it is really genuine that you feel that, and that's the idea. So 137 granting the Supreme Court power to review any of the judgment of the orders of Supreme Court. And next thing is Article 145. According to this Supreme Court rules, it said generally within 30 days. Why? Because to not let manipulations happen. To not let manipulations happen after 30 days, because they go to other advocates and they will look for some loopholes again, and they will come back after 30 days. That is not allowed. So within the 30 days, you have to file a review petition. Now, second statement is correct. Wrong statement. What it is saying? Curative petition is a constitutional remedy. What is the statement is saying? Second one. Curative petition is a constitutional remedy, obviously, explicitly defined and provided under Article 142 to prevent a gross miscarriage of justice. See, curative petition is like an Indian innovation. There are some Indian innovations. For example, within the session, parliamentary session, zero hour. The concept of zero hour was not there at the starting of our adoption of the parliamentary system. It was newly invented by our own MPs, zero hour. In the same way, in the judiciary, we have some inventions like basic structure doctrine. Yes or no? In the same way, even the curative petition concept is also, it was not explicitly mentioned in the constitution, the curative petition. So this is basically the statement says it's a constitutional remedy, correct? It's a remedy because already damage is done, so the remedy is being given. But explicitly defined and provided under Article 142 to prevent the gross, this is also correct, to prevent the gross mismarriage. But whether it is explicitly mentioned is the question. Okay, second statement is actually wrong because this was given under a judgment. Supreme Court has said there is a curative petition also. We can go for a curative petition. That is, this concept was judicially innovated by Supreme Court in the case Rupa Ashok Harra versus Ashok Harra case. That means wife and husband case. It looks like, I don't know whether, I'm sorry if it's not. But thing is, two people are there, they went to court and something happened, some damages happened maybe to the wife, I'm assuming, because of the husband. And now Supreme Court said, Acha, already damages happened to Rupa, and let's again give another sentence, which is like a curative statement, curative judgment. So in that case, this Rupa case, curative petition has come up. So this is not constitution. Why? Again, 142 says complete justice. What is Article 142? I have been saying, stressing in the test discussions also. 142 is like a all-round power to Supreme Court. It can do anything with 142. Even it can remove a district collector. It can remove a DSP if it feels something justice need to be done. So for complete justice, it can go for any extent. That is 142. You can mention this power. It's like a superpower of Supreme Court. Okay. Now third statement is also correct. What is the third statement? Let us see. Unlike a regular review petition, curative petition must necessarily be certified by a senior advocate before it can be filed. See, obviously, but review petition and na opinion. నేను ఒక పర్సన్ని ఐ ఫీల్ దట్ ఐ హావ్ బీన్ గివెన్ ఇన్జస్టిస్, అప్పుడు నా ఒపీనియన్ బేస్ మీద నేను రివ్యూ పిటిషన్ ఫైల్ చేస్తాను. బట్ కమింగ్ టు క్యూరేటివ్ పిటిషన్, ఆల్రెడీ డ్యామేజ్ ఈస్ డన్, దట్ మీన్స్ యూ షుడ్ ప్రూవ్ దట్ డ్యామేజ్ ఈస్ డన్. So who can say there is already injustice happened in the group 1 case? Maybe probably a senior advocate who can certify that, yes sir, there is some really problem in the GO 29 or some GO 55. You have to mention that. Some senior advocate should certify that. Only then Supreme Court or some other courts will accept the curative petition. So here authenticity comes because all these fake, we can say fake petitions generally will be filed now. To prevent that fake cases, senior advocates must certify the curative petition application. Only then Supreme Court will take up. If senior advocate is accepting, means that means there is some really something to look into. That's the idea. So this is correct. Review petition is just normal, but curative petition is, it needs something special certification. Statements about the extraordinary powers and binding nature of the Supreme Court's decisions. So Article 142, complete justice. So it says Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court to pass any decree, any order which is necessary for complete justice, which is enforceable throughout the territory of India. Very generic statement and correct, logical statement. See, if Supreme Court is going for that extent, that means probably it is very important issue. So it will definitely have enforcement for eligibility throughout the territory. Now, under its mandate to establish a complete justice, Supreme Court possesses the jurisdiction to depart from the statutory provisions of the law if a specific case requires such a departure. See, this is like a very controversial statement. What this is saying, Supreme Court can go against the law. Already established law is there, but now to do complete justice, it can go against the law also. Is it not sounding like undemocratic? Yes or no? There is a law already. That means if you are going against the law, that means something undemocratic sense is there. So let it be. Whether it is right or wrong, we will see. See, why I am going like this means I am not going through the PDF before I come to the class, because it brings that freshness. That's the reason. It brings that freshness. So I'm just looking for my own version of how I can solve the statements, so that it's like it will be giving the live test analysis. So if I already went through the PDF and I know the answers, then obviously I'll be artificial in explanation. So you can understand that sometimes I'm making mistakes because I am not a perfect person, and anybody is for that matter. So you have to just learn through me. Learn not from me, but through me. How I am solving, in the same way I can advise you to think in that way. Now comes, I'm saying this is an undemocratic, I'm just thinking like that. I don't know whether it is right or wrong, but if Supreme Court is going against the law, maybe it is undemocratic. I don't think so. Now Supreme Court has no authority to transfer cases from one high court to other without the approval of the parties involved. See, I am the officer, I am taking a decision. Will I consider you? I'm taking a decision against you. Will I consider your consent? Just now we have seen in some question. Nobody will be consulted if the decision is actually on them. Okay. So there is an allegation in a company that somebody has going for, let us say, sexual harassment of a woman. Now, before I remove you, should I consult you? Should I take your permission to remove you? It's that silly to say that parties involvement which are there, their approval should be there, etc. No. So if it really thinks that to shift the case from one high court to another high court, obviously it can go right. So third statement is obviously, I think, wrong. There is only one correct statement, that is statement 1. So yes, second statement is wrong by undemocratic. It cannot go against the established law. So second statement, third statement is wrong. Only statement 1 is correct. So last 1 or 2 questions are there. Just have little patience. Statements regarding High Court. Constitution provides a High Court for each state. Constitution. This is very, very hypothetical, controversial question, because what Constitution says is every state should have a High Court. This is what generally Constitution says. But each state will have only one High Court, separate one High Court. Such debate is not entertained in the Constitution. It's like there is a High Court for both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh for, let us say, 10 years. That means Telangana is also having High Court. Even Andhra Pradesh is also having the High Court. That means each state is having a High Court. But every state should have a separate High Court is not discussed in the Constitution. So from there the question generally comes. There is some subjectivity there. Now let us keep this aside. We will just reinterpret later. Now Parliament may means possibility. It may establish a common High Court for 2 or more states. Obviously that's what happened. For many states we have to, let us say Punjab and Haryana. You have the same court, same High Court in the Chandigarh. Yes or no? So like that we have joint to, even most of the times even Gujarat and Bombay, if you see Gujarat and Maharashtra, they were having the same Bombay High Court. Gujarat and Maharashtra also. So like that there are some states for which only one High Court existed. Even to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh till 2024, the only common High Court was there. So this is correct. Parliament definitely can establish one common High Court. Now every union territory necessarily has a separate, see again this it's like a overtone is there in the statements. Okay, every unit. No, Tamil Nadu, just besides Tamil Nadu there is Puducherry. So Puducherry is a very smaller territory. You don't need a separate High Court and separate judges, everything. So Tamil Nadu High Court will also take care of the Puducherry also. So Dadra and Nagar Haveli, a smaller territory, directly Maharashtra or Gujarat High Court will take care of that. So like the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they don't have any separate High Courts. They can be taken care by the same either Tamil Nadu, like that. So that's a very illogical thing to say every union territory should have that. So third statement I can directly eliminate. There are 2 statements that include the statement 2. That means statement 2 definitely correct. Even we also deduce the same thing. So you can just check the statements here. There are 2 correct statements that include the statement 1. Statement 1 I don't know. So I just kept it as let us see later. But second statement 2 is definitely correct. So if I know that, obviously I can go with the option C. Okay, coming to this option C, there are 2 correct statements including statement 2. That means my 2 is correct and I know that 3 is wrong. Obviously 1 should be correct. So constitution said a high court will be there for each state, but not like one state should have only one high court. That tone is not here reflected. So option 1 and 2 are correct, 3 is wrong. Next. 28. These type of questions, again 2026 form of questions will be in a rapidly expanding semi-urban district. Okay, case study. Mr. A small scale manufacturer, I am a manufacturer, receives an erroneously inflated electricity bill of 5 lakhs from the state power distribution company. Actually, I should get 200 rupees electricity bill, I got 5 lakhs. Now, when his repeated written representations yield no responses, he faces an imminent threat of power disconnection. That means he has been appealing to the officers, but they are saying if you say this to anybody, your power will be cut. That's the situation. Now he approaches the permanent Lok Adalat established for the public utility services. Again, the concept of Lok Adalat, the local justice delivery system. During the initial proceedings, the power company's representatives outrightly refuse to offer any settlement or participate in the conciliation. That means they said, no, he has been using this power without knowing to anybody. He might be having underground factories, etc. Like that, they told anything. But the thing is arguing that their automated billing system is infallible. Infallible means there is no suspicion that our machines are doing anything wrong. They are perfect. 5 lakhs bill is correct. That's what they are saying at the Lok Adalat. Under the provisions of the Legal Services Authority Act 1987, what is the most appropriate and legally mandated course of action for the permanent Lok Adalat in this situation? So now the case is in front of the Lok Adalat. Okay, now Lok Adalats are established under which act? Legal Services Authorities Act itself. So under this act, now there is a power company and there is a person who is affected, and the statement clearly given, it is erroneously given, erroneously inflated. That means the justice should be done to the person. 5 lakhs bill should not be paid, only 200 rupees should be paid. Now under this situation, what are the different appropriate legally mandated course of action? That's the idea. So let us see. Terminate the proceedings and direct Mr. A to approach a regular civil court, as Lok Adalats lack the jurisdiction to proceed without mutual consent of the both parties. See, if you see, there are some extreme tone statements are there here. First thing, terminate the proceedings. How can you terminate when somebody comes to you locally? The issue was bill, electricity bill. That means local public utility services. Lok Adalat has in its mandate even the public utility services. They have to take care of this water, all these disputes. So definitely it is under their jurisdiction, so they cannot terminate the proceedings. Here itself we can just cross it, but still there are some going to civil court, and these lacking the jurisdiction. How can you say lacking the jurisdiction? It's a local issue, and Lok Adalat has that responsibility. Now forward the case file to the State Legal Services Authority to compel the power company to participate in a mandatory arbitration process. See, compel, anti-democratic. Whenever there is an undemocratic tone, that definitely will be wrong, because polity is all about giving freedom. Polity is all about giving that what I can say, wings to the choices of the people. If something is in line of increasing the choice of the people, that is democratic. So how can somebody be compelled by the state itself? No, it should not do that. So this is also wrong. Proceed to adjudicate the dispute on its merits and pass a final award which shall be binding on both the parties and deemed as a civil court decree. First thing is the Legal Services Authority Act says Lok Adalats all decrees and orders are exactly will be taken care with the same enforcement criteria as civil court decree. So local Adalat sentence is equal to civil court decree. So even if you don't know anything about that, at least this is almost like similar statement that we have studied somewhere else. So here you can just convince maybe C is the answer. But let us see the fourth one. Impose a statutory fine on the power company for non-cooperation. See, it's a choice. Whether to cooperate or not is also a choice. You cannot again compel a particular company to be in the local Adalat only, because if they want to go for high court, they can go. They should have that choice. So in a way, non-cooperation and compelling the statutory fine is like, no, it's not generally entertained. Adjourn the matter until a formal compromise is tabled. Formal compromise is tabled. How can a Lok Adalat push for compromise? Compromise means, acha, don't pay 5 lakhs, just pay 10,000 and go. We don't need any case. Will that be entertained by Lok Adalats? No, that is generally entertained by arbitration mediation councils. They will go for that, mediation and arbitrary councils. But Lok Adalat is for justice. They have to do justice. They cannot go for compromise, right? Compromising justice is like compromising the democracy itself. So in a way, this is again extreme. Now I can just say this is almost related to the textbook statement. And here, proceed to adjudicate the dispute on its merits One word is, one clue is merit. Next, pass a final award. So Lok Adalat can give a final award which shall be binding on both parties. So here, if the issue is genuine, then Lok Adalat, their jurisdiction is public utility services. So definitely they can go for, even if the power company is not cooperating, they can go and give a final award. If that final award is not I can say complied with, then Lok Adalat can go for State Services Authority support to compel the power company. So it comes later. First you have to give a final award. If the power company is not listening to you, then obviously you can go to the upper next level, state level authority, so that they can compel the power company to go for a mandatory arbitration process. So in a way, first thing is you have to do your duty. The duty is to adjudicate the matter based on the merits which are there, and then you have to give a final award, and then let's see whether the company will accept it or not. That's the next one, contempt of Lok Adalat cases. So next, with reference to special responsibilities of the governor in relation to scheduled areas, very, very important, 5th schedule. We have 5th schedule. It deals with the administration of the tribal areas, especially other than AMTM. Other than AMTM. What are the AMTM states? Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Tripura, Manipur. So these are the Assam or Arunachal Pradesh? Assam. So these are AMTM states. Other than them, in all other states, if the tribals are there, let us say, then scheduled areas under them, you can just demarcate them so that governor have some powers, some special powers. Now the question is about special responsibilities of the governor. Let us see, under the 5th schedule of the constitution, issuing directions to restrict or nullify the transfer of land involving the members of the scheduled tribes. Can a governor do that? It's like a very generic statement. The idea of scheduled areas itself is to protect the governor's, ST's lands, ST's culture, ST's everything, language, culture, etc. So in a way, transfer of land is very, very important. If all land is purchased by somebody who is non-ST in the scheduled areas, then obviously no culture will be there, no tribalism can be intact. In that way, governor definitely can issue a direction. For what? To restrict the transfer of land or to completely nullify the transfer of land, which has happened between a ST candidate and non-ST candidate. That yes, governor can do. This is on the first phase. Next, framing the regulations to control credit and money lending activities affecting the scheduled tribe communities. Coming to this, credit and money lending. Credit and money lending, in the history, whenever we see revolts, most of the revolts happened because of this credit exploitation and money lending exploitation only. So definitely what I think is, governor, should he have that power to control the economy? Probably yes. Probably yes, because money is like a threat to the tribal people. So what I feel is, according to my understanding, yes, probably governor can do that, because to protect the people from this exploitation. Let us see whether it is right or wrong, I don't know. Now, making provisions governing the allocation of land to the members of the STs. Governing the allocation of land to the members of the STs. Making provisions. See what he is saying, if there is a landless people, ST, now governor can go for allocation of the land. So something which is related to the land, which is a state subject, in place of the state legislature, now governor is the authority. So definitely he can go to do any provision, right, for the protection of the scheduled tribes. So what I generally feel is, first one is definitely correct. That's what I feel, and based on that I will look for the options. So which of the above functions can be exercised by the governor? Option is C. That means obviously 3 are correct. So whatever we inferred on the initial reading is correct. So governor definitely have the power to make allocation of land. He has power to control the economy also. Why? Because Birsa Munda movement, all Santal movement, they are because of the credit issue only. Na? So definitely governor can go for controlling of that. So option C is correct. Last question. I'm very happy. For election to the Lok Sabha, a nomination paper can be filed by whom? Lok Sabha, that means I am an MP contesting candidate. Who can file a nomination? Anyone residing in India. Residing in India. See, even foreigners can get Aadhaar card, if you know. A Germany person can get an Aadhaar card in India. Why? If you reside for 6 months in India, you will be getting Aadhaar card. But if his Aadhaar card is eligibility for nomination of a MP to become the representative, no, you should be citizen of India. The first reason is citizen of India. So citizen is different, resident is different. Anybody can be a resident, but all people are not, all residents are not citizens. So obviously this is wrong. A resident of the constituency from which the election is to be contested. Is there anything like that? For example, from Warangal, a person can go to Andhra Pradesh, Srikakulam, and he can fight the election there. It's possible. He can fight the MP elections. We are seeing a lot of people going here and there, right? So in a way, this is also wrong. There is no restriction on the president. Why? India is a union of the states. India is a union of the states. That means states have no sovereign power on land or anything. Anybody can go anywhere in the country. That freedom of movement and freedom of all these things are there. Any citizen of India whose name appears in the electoral roll of the constituency. Electoral roll of a constituency. This is important. The question, this statement says correct. First thing is, citizen of India can only file a nomination paper for MP. That is good. But the trap here is, name appears in the electoral roll of a community. A community means it may be in the Arunachal Pradesh, but he has to himself enroll in a electoral rolls. That means he should have voting right. That's all. His name should be there in the voter list. Only if you have your name in the voter list somewhere in the country, you can fight election of any constituency. There is no link between the voting constituency and the contesting constituency. But the thing is, you should be having enrolled in at least one of the constituencies. So here the trick is a constituency. But if the question says the constituency, it is wrong. Just a small word. What it says, the constituency. Let us read again. Any citizen of India whose name appears in the electoral roll of the constituency. That means in the same constituency where he is contesting, his voting right should also be in the same. That means again going back to the second statement. So the and a is the difference here. So it is not the constituency. A constituency means in any constituency he should be enrolled as a voting right. Any citizen of India. D. Any citizen of India. Now see, just being citizen of India is not enough, right? Even you have other criteria also. So any citizen of India cannot go for contesting the elections. Let us say a citizen with a criminal antecedent. Can he go for contesting MP elections? No. So nomination papers will happen only when will be accepted if you are citizen. At the same time, your electoral role is there. That means you are not a criminal. So here it is like a check and balance. If your name is there in the voter list, you are not a criminal. If you are a criminal, let us say very grave terrorist, then obviously your name will be taken out from the electoral roll, right? That's the idea. So there should be some checks and balances. Any citizen is not allowed. Only those, for example, a person already MP and he has murdered, let us say 30 people, opposition leaders, and now he was convicted and he was debarred from the elections, let us say. He is a citizen of India. But can he file again nomination paper before the 6 years window period, which was there? No. In India, if a person is convicted for any crime, from there on he will be disqualified as the MP, and even after his release, next 6 years he is not generally allowed for contestation in the election. So in a way, any citizen is not. Generally citizens without any criminal antecedents, they are allowed. So this is the 30 questions. I know there are some questions in which even I also had little confusion. Okay, there are 1 or 2 questions I also expressed some confusion, and actually I love it, because this is how generally the real preparation looks like. Confusing. Real preparation generally confuses. If you are having excellent clarity, definitely అక్కడ ఏదో నడుస్తుందని అర్థం కదా. అంత క్లారిటీగా ఉన్నది అని అంటే ముచ్చట ఏదో ఉన్నదని అర్థం. సో డెఫినెట్గా మనకు కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉన్నది అని అంటే మనం నిజంగా నేర్చుకుంటున్నాం అని అర్థం. ఇన్ ఏ వే ఐ ట్రై టు గివ్ దట్ జెన్యూనిటీ, దట్ జెన్యూన్ దానికోసం ట్రై చేసినాను. నేను జెన్యూన్గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేసిన. నేను ఎట్లా ఆలోచిస్తానో ఆ థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ మీ ముందు పెడదామని ట్రై చేసిన. సో దిస్ ఈస్ హౌ యూ కెన్ లుక్ ఆఫ్టర్ దీస్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ అండ్ క్వశ్చన్స్. అండ్ దిస్ ఈస్ ఫర్ టుడే. వాట్ ఐ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ యూ ఈస్, ప్లీజ్ గో త్రూ ద మోడల్ ఆన్సర్స్. Complete, read every statement which is there. I have given the conceptual part, but there are a lot of facts here and there. So please go through them. And tomorrow we are having 10 questions. Main sectional test, 10 questions. And along with that, you will be having even the essay. Okay, I have given 3 essays and you have to write 1 essay within 1 hour. The time is 1 hour. So this is mandatory, 1 essay. If you haven't written the essay, then definitely I will be speaking to you on Monday. You can consider me like a very strict mentor. Okay, so definitely I'm going to see your essays on Monday. You have to write. Be worst, it's okay, but have to write. That's the only request that I have. Okay, please go through the essay, because we will be having explanation on the Monday. On Monday we'll discuss the essay. Model essay will be given to you, and in the same place if possible we'll discuss the essay also. Okay, and last final word is, UPSC preparation is very hectic, which is everybody knows it. Okay, very hectic. So much so that we have to listen to somebody who is speaking for hour just on 30 questions. So this is that hectic, definitely. But the point here is, from this hectic schedule only you will see the real learning. That means from morning to evening, the 9 hours of time that you are spending, actually it's worth only if you are putting heartfully. If you are only sitting there and not learning anything, then that is like a signal, red signal. We should leave the preparation. That's what I generally see, because the time we are spending we'll never get back. Definitely we don't get back. maybe in the same 1 year that you are preparing for Margadarshi, if you have done something else, you will definitely get at least, if you are UPSC aspirant, so definitely you will get at least 40 to 50,000 per month, at least, the worst case I am saying. So that is an opportunity cost for us. So we are spending the time here, full time we are spending, every day 8 hours we are studying, right? So please remember that 8 hours worth at least 1 lakh rupees a month. Remember that if you are not studying for 1 day, that means that 1 day's salary you are losing. It's like if you work, you will understand. So 1 lakh means every day you will get at least some 5 to 6,000 you will lose. So think like that. If you don't study for 1 day, that means you are losing 5,000 rupees. So that's the idea here. We are spending time, right? Time is like invisible money. So what I request is, whatever you do within your capacity, do it that heart and soul. You have to put that. That genuinity should be there. Only then you can have that idea to, the possibility to success. Otherwise, I have seen people who are roaming here and there in the same Ashok Nagar and everywhere. Majority are studying, but the thing is, there are some people who are not at all focusing on, but still they are paying lakhs of rupees to the institutes. Obviously, we'll be happy, but the thing is the purpose. Why you are paying each rupee? We are our parents and somebody is supporting us now. So what I expect is, please, for every rupee that we are spending, we should have some accountability. That moral accountability should be there. And beyond all these things, learning is joyful. Learning should never be hectic and never be feeling boredom. Learning should be joyful. So have that peer group with you. Please always speak with those people who can give you hope. Okay, if somebody is demotivating you, let us say in your hostels or somewhere, just cut them off. If somebody is trying to demotivate you, because we also know, right, this is a risk. We know, I know, everybody is know, it's a risky thing, preparation. If we get through, it's fine. If we do not get through, obviously we take the responsibility. We are adults, right? We are not minors or anything. We definitely take the accountability. But the thing is, we should not be like half-hearted. We already jumped into, right? So the only thing is we have to give 100%. There is nothing else we can do. So this is for today. We can meet on Monday again with the essay. So an essay will be my zone. Okay, you will enjoy it superbly. So essay is my unique strength. So obviously you will see different philosophical things we are discussing within the classroom. I'll show you a different world. Okay, so essay, we'll meet in the essay discussion, and this is for today. Thank you so much. Any queries? No queries. Dinesh? No. Yeah. No queries. Shrey? No queries. Right, online people, do you have any queries? Online, so that we can end the session. CSAT, already I have given the explanation, answers will be there. Go through them. If you have any doubt, then definitely I will be there to address. Okay, because it's already 2 hours. If you understand, I can't drag it further. So, obviously. So CSAT should be self-study mode, mostly self-study. I am giving the answers, right? So it's a self-explanatory. If you go through that, you will definitely understand. If you have any problem, always I will be here. Right.